All right. Welcome to Take a Beat. My name is Tirza and I'm the digital pastor here at IES. Take a Beat is an IES podcast where we invite you to stop a little while and chat with us about things that matter, only to launch ourselves back on the beat. So we are doing a special series of podcasts that talks about technology, the virtual world, gadgets, things like that. And so for this series, I want to introduce you to my co-host.
Me?
Yes, you. So this is Titus.
Yes. Okay, so yes, my name is Titus. I'm one of the staff here at IES, part of the teens team. And so I'm co-hosting for today.
Also, at this present moment when we are recording this, it is his birthday.
Oh, yay!
Happy birthday,
Happy
Titus.
birthday. Are you one? Are you two? Are you
It'll
First
take a
digit
while.
starts with 2.
20 something?
20 something.
Me too.
No.
Not me. Were you done introducing
Yes,
yourself? Is there anything else you need to?
I'm excited to be here.
All right. Well, today we have 3 wonderful guests. Where do we want to start?
You pick. From the
Okay.
youngest one.
Okay.
The youngest one. Okay.
I'll be first then.
Please wait.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Keisha, and I'm one of the teens here in IES Teens, and I'm a student.
No.
Cool.
All right. Hi everyone, I'm Emmanuel, but people here call me Al. And I've been attending IES for the last 3 years, I think. Yes. I'm married, for those of you asking.
Because at one point I will want
Right.
your wife here too. At some point, when she's ready.
Oh, hi, I'm Jezneel. I am a fashion entrepreneur
Ooh.
and a social media influencer.
Ooh, that we can talk about.
Yes.
And yeah, I've been an adult here at IES for how many years? 13 years? Yeah, I started off in teens. Yeah, so I transitioned from this to this.
Right.
From teen to adult. That's right. That's right.
Teen to adult.
Take yourself as the example.
Okay, oh yes,
I
just to
first
this.
met Jezneel when she was a teen.
Hmm.
We were in Teens Camp, and I was her room mom with a bunch of other teens,
Alright.
teen girls, and I survived.
Right.
It was a packed bungalow thing.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
Was it still in the old building? Or here?
Yeah. Well, so the camp was in Anyar,
Oh, right.
but IES was still in Yobi at that time.
Mhm.
Anyway, so we want to talk about technology. How do we, I think you brought this up earlier, but how do we define technology? When you're talking, or if you're thinking about tech, or we mentioned tech, what comes to mind for you?
Hardware and software.
Hardware and software.
Social media.
Okay.
Ooh.
Applications and computer stuff basically.
So how often do you use tech in your life?
Every day, I think.
Every second.
Yeah. Can't live without it, I think.
Really?
Nah, no.
So, what? Okay, let me just. I'm just curious. What is the application on your phone that you use the most?
Bible app.
Let's
Wait.
go.
Praise the Lord. Okay.
Good answer.
Actually, yeah.
Everyone else is like, wait, if my answer isn't Bible app, like,
I went on vacation and I came back, and embarrassingly enough, in my life group, I had to look at my Bible and it had to update and re-download. So that was really embarrassing. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, my number one app is Instagram.
I think it's the tax application. iMessage on iPhone.
oh,
Oh,
well, you're an iMessage person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know.
I feel like if it's in my phone, it would be Instagram, but if it's on my laptop, it would be YouTube and Google Docs.
And what?
Fair.
YouTube and Google Docs.
Oh, Google Docs. I thought you said Roblox. I was like,
I mean, like, there's nothing wrong with playing Roblox.
How are you?
Me? Recently it's been WhatsApp because there's a lot of people to like text now. No, it's just like a lot of communication stuff. But if you're talking about computers, like YouTube takes over like everything. I play things while I'm doing
That's
working or
true.
something. And it's like hours on end.
What I've started actually doing is at home, like putting YouTube on my TV with the like ambient.
Yeah.
The
like
fireplace,
sound.
yeah.
or like I like the sound of rain because it makes me feel cooler.
Yeah.
So I have that. Or just like the Narnia snow, wishing it's snowing outside. Yeah, what? Mine is actually probably Google Maps.
oh,
Yeah,
fun.
'cause- and before I go anywhere, it's like how much traffic is
Right,
this
right.
going to
That's
take?
Right, right.
Like what route do I need to
Right.
take? Where and like okay, should I drive or should I just not?
Yeah. So you commute every day, then?
Yeah. Even coming here, I live close, but like even seeing okay, gato siguro to not a good not like
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I do that too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the close. Even though I know the routes, like I know everywhere to go, it's like I still choose to like look at Google Maps
Yeah.
just to make sure. You never know.
Yeah.
So I have a question that I'm curious. Do you remember a time in your life before like tech or gadgets or internet?
Yeah, I think so. It was. I think when I was a kid, I think we as kids we still went out doing the after school to play soccer and any kid stuff, But kids nowadays they just stay at home after school, just playing with their iPads and stuff. I think.
Kids nowadays, what do you do after school?
I mean, I'm homeschooled, so I can't
Ah,
really.
I was homeschooled as well.
Hey, okay. Rise. Anyways. Homeschool kids rise. But like, I guess for me, I guess it's pretty similar. But now, if I would try to like go out, for example, if I were to go out, it's more like hanging out like at a mall or something.
Right.
But back when I was younger, I feel like because I was born in like the late 2000s. Tech was already very.
I think I'm the oldest one here, so I'm just feeling it. Sorry, continue.
it's starting to hit you.
Thanks. Look over there.
Put on some rain ambiance.
That's right.
But back then I feel like it's more towards single-use tech, like TVs,
Right.
or like what else did I used to use? If I were to use like tablets and stuff, it's still like I only like use it like to play games and like nothing else.
Okay.
Or like I didn't use this, but my mom used it. It was like an iPod, and like we used to play music on it. But now everything is obviously in one device. So, but back then it was more of like this device is dedicated to this and this and this.
Yeah.
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 I was born in '97. I guess I grew up with the internet. And what do I remember? In America, I'd just play my video games on the weekend. My dad was very strict.
Because you grew up in America.
Yes, up to 6 years old. Then I moved
Okay,
here.
okay.
But my dad was always very strict with technology. He was like, you can only use your devices, gadgets on the weekends. And then he upgraded it to on weekends, and you have to finish your homework and studying. I'm like, who's ever done studying? There's so much to study, right? But yeah, I even remember him like having punishments for me, and he would ask me, okay, I'm sorry, I don't know if this is TMI, but my punishment was also spanking. So there was a point in my life where he asked me to choose your punishment. Do you want to be spanked, or do you want me to take away your Game Boy for a week? And I think that was my first mature decision. I was like, well, if I get spanked, it's over like in a second. And if it's Game Boy, it's like over in a week. So I'm like, okay, spanked. And then I get it over with and I got my Game Boy. So that's how addicted I was to like my games.
Wow.
Yeah.
Game Boy. That was a time.
Sorry, like games and stuff as well. What we're talking about.
Or like, did you? Because you were talking about growing up
Right.
before,
Oh,
like
right,
after
right.
school
Yeah.
and hanging
Yeah,
out.
I think I rarely use those like TVs like that. Like I would say I only do like gaming console on during the weekends. Like
Okay.
every weekdays, I just spend my time like going out with friends, like playing soccer and then riding on a bicycle. Yeah, like in a group of fives, I think, and then we just cycling around the the area and just hang out, like eating popsicles and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
Wow.
dude. That's it's so long since I've like experienced something like that too.
No, I think he's thinking, a popsicle.
No.
A popsicle sounds good right about now.
Yeah.
So, because now I feel like everything we do is kind of saturated in technology, whether it's on a gadget, through a gadget. Even like, at church, we check in using our
Yeah.
gadgets.
Yeah.
And then sermon notes is like this QR code, and then we
Bible.
yeah, like there's not a lot of people who goes to church bringing their actual like heavyweight Bible anymore. Um, so what are some of your personal boundaries with technology? Do you have boundaries with technology?
I feel like now it's hard to define because most of the, I guess, studying or work that I do is also using technology. But I guess it's more towards what I use the technology for.
Right.
And trying to, I feel like now there's like a lot of distractions, obviously, because like one device can do like multiple things. So I try to, if I'm working on something on my laptop or on my phone, I try to like the only applications I have open should be my browser and like Spotify, and that's it. And like I try to limit it by like limiting the applications, but not like the device itself.
Okay.
Well, I guess I agree with what you said though. Like I think I minimize it to one tech at a time. That depends on what I'm doing. Like if I have to talk to my wife while she's at work, yeah, obviously I'm gonna use my phone. But other than that, I don't think I'm using it 24/7. No, you know. Yeah.
It's pretty tricky for me. I feel like I just use it for personal reasons, but also work and
Yeah.
like content creation. I need to make more boundaries. I feel like the biggest boundaries I make is probably like trying to be present when I'm talking to people. Like I don't use my phone,
Right.
and that's something I want to pursue more. But to be honest, like I wake up, I check my phone, and then I do my day, which is a bunch of events, and then sometimes I have to like force all the content creation like in a single day, like it's time sensitive. So I might even be like editing content as I'm like until I fall asleep in bed.
Okay.
So it's just like falling asleep to content, waking up with content, and I'm sorry to say, like I was taught that in the influencer world. It's like, hey, you need to get it done, like do whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's kind of like cool to see in terms of like get stuff done. But in a way, it's like, what has our world become? Like, I'm choosing content creation and work over sleep and rest. It's a balance. Yeah, that's just something you have to work on.
And I
have to
think
work on.
that's, I feel like that part of why I was very interested to have Jezneel here was because, that's a completely different, because some people, they have like a pretty clear boundary between like, oh, this is work, this is personal. When yours is, there's a lot of gray areas, blurred. And it's all like with influencers, you're that's, I don't know, like your life online is part of your job, right?
Yes. But I could say the same thing about your guys' job. Don't you all do your jobs on WhatsApp? And
Not true.
how do you separate the work text from the personal text from your mom? And my mom is my boss too. So I literally live with my boss at home, and the work never stops, and I'm just suffocating myself. So I don't know.
But I'm amazed at influencers though, like how they keep things balanced between my personal life and work life. Because I personally, I don't think I can be an influencer.
I can't either. I tried when I said I'm an influencer. I do this because I don't like to claim that title. Like till this day, I'm just no. But in a way, that's what I'm doing. And brands approach me as an influencer. I'm like, hey, I'm not an influencer, but if God provided me this platform,
Yeah.
why wouldn't I use it?
Right.
So I'm trying to use it in His way. And the only way I've been able to go at it for so long is kind of denying it. That's my personal way of doing it. It's like, okay, I'm not an influencer and this is all for God. Oh yeah, I'm doing this for fun. But if I actually had to take it as a real job, I think I would be too stressed out and like
Yeah.
too much pressure.
Okay.
So that's interesting.
Did you have any questions?
I just love the direction of this because I was just for me I was just kind of like how do we balance out like the being online life and then also being in the real life because I feel like what you were saying is that everything we do now has some type of technology in it,
Right.
like whether we're communicating with our friends, whether we're social mediating, like it's,
My subgroups online.
right. And so it's like how do we balance that out? Like how do we, like I love what you talked about how like when you're out somewhere with somebody or with people, like you want to be present. Like how do you even like take that step into that? Because like I feel like sometimes even when you're present with somebody, something's going on in your phone and you're
Yeah.
gonna want to check it. Like your mind's kind of even like pulling you towards that. So how is that balance, or how does that play out in your life?
I turn on Do Not Disturb. I don't allow notifications. I was listening to this podcast earlier today, like researching for this, and it was saying like, who has access to you 24/7? You know who it should be? God,
Yeah.
right? And like I'm just allowing all these different opportunities to come, and I'm not filtering it. I'll get to it when I can. I'm sorry, I'm not available 24/7, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Airplane mode is good too for, when you're on your soap groups, so you don't. I see my soap group people texting during the soap group. I'm not gonna call anyone out.
No, I know the people in your subgroup.
Well, it's a guy.
Oh, okay.
That's the one hint.
Maybe we'll have him on the podcast.
You should have him on the podcast.
Keisha, how about you?
I
What do you
think-
think?
Similar to Jezneel, my phone is like always on Do Not Disturb because
Oh.
I don't know if I just don't like it when I feel like when people text me out of the blue, I feel like I didn't consent to that.
True that.
You're disturbing me with him.
Yeah.
It vibrates in your pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But like it's not like they shouldn't, but it's really hard for me to like even like online. I'm a person whose social battery runs out really easily, so even if it's online, I already know I do not want to be disturbed. So like whenever, but like it's always on, but I always check if there's anyone texting me, and I make sure to text them back. But yeah, voluntarily.
Well, I think I'm more of a old school this way. I think because like whenever I don't want to be disturbed, I just leave my phone elsewhere. Just downstairs. Like I'll just whenever like I have a simulator at home, right? Whenever I play simulator at home, it's just I leave it downstairs and no one would bother me. Right?
This
Yeah, I
is,
mean-
this is driving simulator.
Yeah, driving simulator. Well,
I
yeah.
heard the story about you
Yeah.
driving from Bandung to Jakarta
Let's not-
in an hour.
Nice.
What?
This just happened this past weekend.
Wait,
an hour and
in
10
the
minutes.
simulator or real life?
No, Manung in real life. Yeah, we
So
last
you
week-
should tell people what
That's
you
a
what,
third
like
of the
Right.
your background.
Yeah. So I used to be an athlete, which I race motorcycles and for a living. Yeah.
So
That's
the need,
still crazy.
the need for
Yeah.
speed is
Yeah.
It's
I
in-
had this. I think like couple years. I think this was 2 years ago. I had to go to the doctor because I think I've been sort of like my body. I don't know why at first, but it's just shut down. Just at a given moment, like
Okay.
just randomly shut down. It's like like I want to faint. But then again, I got to the doctor, and then he told me like it may be some. I got it because like from such an early age, I've like I had adrenaline pumping, but then I suddenly stopped, and it kind of like disturb my New Year's of some sort.
Equilibrium.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So I need to like the car simulator is actually a need instead of like.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
doctor's orders.
Well,
Play more
I'm
games.
using it as an excuse.
So if your doctor's watching this, he just
Yeah.
used you as an excuse.
Yeah.
But wow, so you can leave your phone.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Places.
my work, I think I don't need my presence that much. I think it's like I own a restaurant, by the way, but it's just. I mean, I don't need to be there all the time. Like it's just by phone, but I'll leave it 2-3 hours. It's still fine.
Okay, wow. Such balance.
True luxury. There you go.
No.
So talking about, because we're talking a little bit about like what kind of healthy relationship can we have with technology in our lives. One of the things that is probably really big as we talk about social media is just that doom scrolling. Also, like just the trap of comparing ourselves with what people post and like like others highlight reels, and then we compare that trap of like comparing ourselves. So how do you navigate life in the social media realm?
I think replace it with reading the Bible more.
Yeah. Don't get your affirmations from other people. Get it from God.
Yeah.
What does that look like?
Well, it's even hard for me as well, like because whenever just right before I go to sleep, usually the last thing you hold is your phone, right? And sometimes it gets the best of me as well. Like I've been scrolling. Oh, it's been 2 hours, just on bed before. Just like sometimes just to put boundaries on it, it's very hard. That's why I think I agree with the do not disturb kind of thing, and it lets you know when to just sleep. I think yeah. And I put screen time as well. Like I think on Instagram, I think 30 minutes is the max. Yeah, and YouTube. Well, YouTube as well. I think yeah.
Okay. Did you say that's hard?
Yeah, 30 minutes is hard.
Yeah.
30
Like,
minutes
for
a day.
YouTube, yeah, at least, because that's like one video.
Yeah.
What video are you watching?
Dude, the lengths of videos now are just increasing. They're like they have to be at least 10 minutes, at least 15 minutes.
Actually, Take a Beat is about 20 to 30
Exactly.
minutes. Never mind.
Keep watching, folks.
Please.
This is for the Lord.
Amen.
Keisha, what about you?
I think
Because you're also in ComScrew, right?
Yes.
yes.
And
So
what is that?
Oh, so ComScrew is
Sorry.
if you want to check out our IS Teens
yes,
Instagram,
follow us, please.
IS Teens. But that is what Cheyshammah and some other teens also do. They're
Keisha.
oh, yeah, sorry, Keisha. sorry.
It's fine. It's all good.
That's what Keisha and some other teens like. They lead that ministry in posting and what we post, how we post things, and even just ideas and creativities in the Instagram.
I think for me personally, when it comes to like when we talk about like the ComScrew ministry, we have like a dedicated time. So this post is gonna be posted at this hour, and we need to like schedule the post. But I think sometimes we still struggle because I'm a really forgetful person.
Okay.
Sometimes like my Saba, a friend of mine who's also in ComScrew, she's like, don't forget to do this, and I'm like, oh yeah, sorry. but when it comes to, usually it gets done pretty quickly. So, but I guess when it comes to other stuff like doom scrolling, I feel like I don't know. I don't know if it's because of the content that is on my phone, but I don't really get the urge to doom scroll because I'm like, this is boring. So I'm like, I want to do something else. I get easily bored, but I guess that's why like I've been like, when I was younger, I really like to like read books. So now I'm like trying to get back into that habit. So instead of like switching from one social media to another because I'm bored, I would like just like sit down and read a book. And for the influence thing, I feel like a lot of people that I follow online are like celebrities. So, and I kind of, since like I'm a fan of them, I kind of know they've got what they've gone through to reach that peak of maybe like success or fame and whatever.
I was going to say, so you follow at least 13 of them?
Yeah. But yes,
She's a carrot.
I'm a carrot, guys. Anyway, stand 17. Anyways, but
Yeah,
I had to
Keep
learn
up,
from
keep up.
I was like, what?
Keep up.
All right.
but since I've seen like not just only them but other I guess artists as well, I've seen the hard work that they put into their. So I don't tend to get jealous of them because I've seen the hard work that they put in, and I know that like they kind of deserve that success. So when I look back at, I feel like I see them more as a role model instead of something that I should like compare myself to. Often find myself wanting to have like a work ethic like them because I'm not necessarily chasing success, but the mentality that they have in order to work hard and achieve their goals or dreams. I feel like it's become more of a motivation instead of a comparison.
Wow, very self-aware of you
Yeah.
for a young
Are you
age.
sure she's a teen?
He would know.
I'm still very much a teen, guys.
So, I have another question. How do you use technology? And I know we've kind of mentioned this here and there, but how do you use technology and social media and everything to support your relationship with God, with your ministry, things like that? Because I think a lot of the times we talk about how, technology or social media is bad and things that are bad for you. But how about like on the flip side? Like how can that help support you as you live out your faith, as you
Right.
live out your ministry?
Well, as if for me, I think, because if we're talking about Instagram, I think my Instagram profile, for me now, if I'm actually confused what to post anyways, right? Because I've retired as an athlete, and to be honest, now I don't know what to post. But sometimes I just post like Bible scriptures and like whenever I feel like this is the Holy Spirit calling, and then I would just post from another profile, like for example they have like this scripture about like to get on going in life, and then I would just post it and my Insta story, and then I think at in the moment, like I'm always like trying to influence people in the good news.
I think, when you put Bible verses on your bio or like the cross symbol, I think that's cool. I'm being honest. I'm afraid to do that in this kind of environment just because of like maybe the opportunities I might miss out on because I believe something different than what other people believe in. That's my shortcoming, but I try to post when I can, like on my social media, like through stories or posts. But I'm wondering why I can't take that extra step to like boldly claim that this is me. I think I am trying not to mislead people into following me, like, hey, this girl, she's whatever. And then slowly find out through my stories, like, oh, she's a Christian. That's even cooler. Let me see how she lives her life out as a Christian. Without, I just feel like if I just boldly proclaim it on my profile, it might mislead people who were against maybe my faith and weren't open to it. I'm kind of directing them slowly to my vision, and that's how I
Kind of balancing it out.
yeah, I don't want to scare people like, hey, everybody, which I kind of want to. I am kind of like that person. When I go out with my friends, like I'm always like when they play songs on in the party, it's like, what, The Weekend, Die For You. I'm like, you know who else would die for you?
That's a good one.
There you go. Yeah, I'm not afraid to do that, but the social media world, it's tricky.
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
tricky, and I think that's why we're having conversations like this, is because it's tricky.
Right.
I guess for me, I remember one time, Sava came up to me and there was like a few newcomers, and they told Sava that they came to Teens because they saw our Instagram and like what we posted, right? And so, and
What
she
you
told me
guys
that.
post.
It was just
It's
our
just-
content.
yeah,
And
our
it was
content,
like
like
4 or 6
sermon recaps and like picture dumps and stuff like that. And so at that moment, I was like, oh, this is like influencing people like really work. Because
Yeah.
sometimes, because in my personal like social media page, I feel like since most of my friends are already Christians, I don't feel like I have the need to like spread the word more or something, because like, you know, you're a Christian, I'm a Christian, it's fine. But sometimes I still do like promote, but it's just not that often. Solely because I don't feel like I have the need to
Okay.
share. But for my own journey in faith, with my family, we still try to like, we have a Bible plan together, like with the whole family, and we would like sit down together and we would listen to the Bible plan. And my mom, ever since like COVID, I think, has been like enforcing us to do this new like habit of scripture writing. So on base, like on each month, if I'm not wrong, there's like a verse, like one verse or multiple verses each day following a certain theme, like forgiveness, for example. And we would write that down. So I guess it's also trying to involve, if you don't have time to look into God's word, make the time. And I feel like that's what my parents really have taught me ever since I was younger. So it's not natural now, because it's more of a like, oh, my parents told me to do this. But now, as I'm getting older, the curiosity also grows. So it's become a bit more easier for me to do that. So
I was just gonna go on the whole. I was gonna not add, but I was gonna like touch on the whole the teens coming into teen service, and like that's something that was very new for us. I think it's the first time this year, out of all the years that we've been doing the Instagram stuff, or been improving and just posting more, that people actually came from Instagram. And I think that was like one of the, like, I remember hearing that and I was super excited to tell Sava and tell
Keisha.
Cheyshammah.
Yeah.
Sorry. There's other.
She has multiple names.
Yeah,
that's
so
why.
that's why I'm like really struggling here. And so I remember, and I was so excited to tell them because it was like such a new thing for us to hear, and super exciting because like in that same weekend it was 4 or 6 teens that came in that said, oh, we
okay.
found you guys on Instagram. It was Saturday, and then Sunday like another group of different teens, and so it was just very exciting. And so it was just kind of like, I think for me it was like such a real show of how, I guess, online presence or even social media presence can have a positive influence, and or does work in the sense of like, like that these kind of content, even like this podcast, does move people and influence people.
And connect with people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And I have no idea where they came from. Like they I mean they're obviously most likely in Jakarta, but like out of nowhere, and then they come in and they're connecting with people.
Yeah.
They're making friends, and I was like, that is like, I think the power of how the internet influences people to move even in the real world. And it's not just like solely the things that you leave a mark there, but it's also like taking that out into real life. And that was a really good like first-hand experience.
Yeah, I guess I've experienced that too in my ministry. I've had counseling appointments with people from Instagram and people I actually have never met, and prayed for people and things like that. So that has been an interesting twist to my job.
Right. Right. I love that we're also talking on this segment too, because like I feel like there is always this like duality of like social media presence and then like your real life, and I think you have to like balance that out. But I love like hearing from everybody. It's also kind of like there is that desire or even breakthrough in merging that, because I feel like our Christian lives are meant to be in every single segment, and so
Yeah.
like being on social media or even being
Right.
in this online presence, like you bring that there. And it is a bit scary. Like there's a lot of different content. There's a lot of different people out there that do different things, and so it's like there's a bit of danger, but there's also like I think it's just a new realm to like really get the word out.
And I want to commend you and your social media because it's one thing to get the views, right? Like you think that's success, right? But I think the real success, I was like learning this from YouTube videos, this business guy / social media. It's like you chase these numbers thinking that that's success, but he was talking about how he made all these like followers, but at the end of the day when he was trying to sell his product, I think he only made like 20 sales, like out of like the 80,000 followers he made.
Right.
And that was heartbreaking for him because he was like, I tried to gain all these followers, and then at the end of the day,
Product doesn't sell.
the product didn't sell. And what's the most important thing? Selling the product. And so what I learned from that was like to focus more on the product and like, I don't know.
Yeah.
The social media presence will follow. And what is the product right now? It's like getting people to church, and like
Right.
that number of like people coming
Right.
is better than having 1 million views, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Right, talking about that as well, like at least this is my experience, right? So, since the first time, I kind of like changed my bio, right? So instead of my achievement, I put like, oh, servant of God, like that.
See.
But then again, when after I did that and I post some like couple stories and stuff, I think I noticed that I lost like thousands of
Whoa.
followers, yeah. But then again, yeah, I don't really mind. I mean, losing all those followers, but at least maybe through that posting, at least one actually, got a nudge from God, whatever.
Right.
Like every time I do that, I don't do it intentionally. It's just
Yeah.
like I have like whenever I feel like the Holy Spirit is telling me to like, oh yeah, post this or whatever, like or send it to your friend. Or,
Yeah.
And then whenever I do that, at least like I have the hope that God is working through that. But losing a lot of followers, like yeah, like she said, like gaining followers, but you don't sell the products. There's yeah.
And I think it's also like what Titus was saying with our lives. Our faith is lived out in all of these different segments of our lives, including this virtual social media realm that is part of our lives. And so the question is like, oh, are you the same person in public, in private, online? Right?
Yeah.
Any other comments? I think it's about time for us to wrap up, but any other burning comments you would like to share with the world? I am now really interested in looking at your profile. See what
Yeah, me
you
too now.
we should put all of their like Instagram.
Oh yeah, sure. Follow me at Cheyshammah001.
Nice. Follow me at Jezneel Ross.
So it will be around here.
And don't forget like the thousands of accounts that IES has.
Yeah, true.
I have a new content idea for Elle.
Cool.
You
Ooh.
should do driving to church. Speeding to church. Jesus, take the wheel.
So I should just put my hands up.
But then like just a video like the reaction of people in your car like Marcus or
I
pants.
think Reina took a video of it.
Nice.
Oh my god.
I feel like I want to
I gotta
watch
see
this
this
now.
video. Let's see this video.
Anyway, we're going to wrap up. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, of course.
And we are still on our tech series, but we will see you next week for another episode of Take a Beat. Don't miss a beat.